it on camera. So it's publicly as challenging.
We are going to listen to Brenda Hollingsworth's speech because we've pledged to take them all. Can I just remind everybody, we just talked to the guy whose leadership convention in 1996 started in 1 month and ended in another month. Ended at 4:30 in the morning with him winning on the 5th ballot after being in 4th place on the 1st and 2nd ballots. I still don't know how you did it, but you did it.
And remember the words offered to me by my wife at the time,
Which were?
you said you weren't going to win.
And you did. Premier, because it's the Corona Convention, we do this. Thanks so much for dropping by. It's a great pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Here's Brenda Hollingsworth.
You are nuts to do this. That voice asked me, who do you think you are? Politics is a game for insiders, and you know very well you are not insider. And people around me told me you're making a big mistake. They said, you're not a politician. Be happy where you are. You're in a great spot. You're going to be sorry. But my heart was simply not going to take no for an answer. I just could not accept what was happening in Ontario. I was deeply offended by the treatment of families impacted by autism. I was worried about the Ontario Disability Support Program. And I saw my own clients unable to get back on their feet because Ontario's auto insurance regime was so heavily tilted in favor of drivers or against drivers. I watched people plead guilty because legal aids slashed budget, and we were on the brink in education. Now, I have spent my career advocating for people with illness and disability. I have stood up to big insurance. I have stood up to big corporations, and yes, I have stood up to big government. And watching my own government pick mercilessly on the most vulnerable, well, that's something I just could not ignore. So my heart was clear. Get into that arena and advocate for a better Ontario. And my heart has been greatly rewarded. Literally thousands of you, including my 5 amazing candidate colleagues, including John Fraser, you have welcomed me into your communities and into your party. Whether it was in a pub in Kitchener or a packed house in Don Valley West for an all-candidates meeting, or my own riding of Ottawa West Nepean, where I have lived 35 of my 51 years. You've all made me feel like I am exactly where I need to be, and it is a great thing when your heart proves your head wrong. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that this metaphorical mountain climb started with a literal one. But of course now, at the end of the leadership race, I see we're not actually at the summit. We're really only at base camp. Today we start the real climb to the real peak, victory in June 2022. And I am so excited to continue my ascent with you. What I know for sure is to reach that peak, the Ontario Liberal Party needs a leader who is brave, thoughtful, and tenacious. And here's the thing. Calling out Doug Ford is not particularly brave. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. That's right. Being brave means having the courage to do politics differently. It means collaborating and finding common ground with Ontarians of all political stripes whenever we can. It means rejecting the extreme polarization that has caused so many Ontarians to check out of civic participation altogether. Now, we do that by campaigning for what we believe in and not just what we are against. Let's draw on our collective imagination, our initiative, and our indignation to build our platform from the ground up, and let's take it to the people of Ontario together. Across all regions and all age groups, you have urged me to push for a strong climate action program. You know what needs to be done to meet our climate obligations and to harness climate opportunities, and you want a leader who shares this priority. Yes, you do. Healthcare is also on your mind. You want your families to have better access to Ontario's excellent healthcare providers. If you live in the north, if you live in rural Ontario, if you are an Indigenous Ontarian, et même si vous êtes franco-ontarien ou franco-ontarienne. I will continue to push our party for better healthcare policy. Now, understandably, there's been a lot of talk about education over the last 3 months. And to our teachers, our education workers, our parents and our students, where are you? It may not feel like it right now, but Ontario is with you. And the Liberal Party is with you, and I am with you. Now, across the province, many Ontarians have shared with me your worries about your economic future. In Oshawa and Windsor, in Renfrew and in Peterborough, you have seen industry pack up and leave. You know that technological change is on its way. You want an Ontario that offers your children the same opportunities that you had, and then some. As a business owner myself, someone who pays corporate taxes, hustles to meet payroll, searches for talent in a tight labor pool, I share your worries. I do. But as a business owner who has faced massive disruption in my own industry over the past decade, I am confident that together we can find a solution. We need to grow the economy, and our leader must share that commitment. Now, I have good news. We have experts right within our own party who want to build the innovative economic policy to catapult Ontario into the middle of this century, where technological excellence will be everything. Yes. Now, we know that this province is facing a housing emergency. And we know that Ontarians from the LGBTQ+ community are disproportionately impacted by homelessness. And you have told me that that must change. Together, we'll change it. The people, you people, who I have met through this journey have been incredibly generous. Your hopes and desires are never personal, never selfish. To me, that is the essence of what it means to be a Liberal. We dream big, but it is a collective dream. We want all Ontarians to share in the bounty of this beautiful province. We welcome newcomers from all parts of the world, and we understand that our tradition of welcoming immigrants is our strategic advantage in the 2020s, and we embrace it. Et pour mes amis francophones, comprenez que je suis ici pour vous. Now, some of you have shared with me your strong desire to see a woman lead the Ontario Liberal Party on this ascent to victory. And let's not forget, in 2013, we had 6 female premiers in Canada, and now we have 1. Our gains are fragile and can't be taken for granted. Kathleen Wynne shattered that glass ceiling. We need to make sure that the glass installers do not find their way back to Queen's Park. No, thank you. If the Ontario Liberal Party is not setting the pace on gender parity in provincial politics, who will? Now, we have had 3 incredibly qualified female candidates in this race, and I applaud Mitzi and Kate. I'm so glad to have shared this stage with them. That is a parity we should be proud of. Now, I don't know how this day ends, but I do know that we all need to reflect on what barriers remain for women seeking leadership roles. I was very lucky to be raised in a family, oh, this is hard, where it was just a given that I could do or be anything I wanted. Gender was simply never an issue. My parents, who are here, have been incredibly supportive of me through this race. They have had excellent debate attendance across the province and are here as delegates for Ottawa Centre, and I thank them so much. Richard, my partner in life and law, has kept both our family and our firm afloat while I have been crisscrossing Ontario. But not every woman has this kind of support, and while I am incredibly thankful for it, I urge you to join me in a quest to make this support the rule and not the exception. We need to remember that while the gender wage gap exists, women will be less able to meet the financial markers required to run for our party and to participate in politics. Close that gap. Can you say it with me? Close that gap. Close that gap. That's right. Now, as we assemble our crew to scale up to 2022, selecting over 100 candidates, will the Ontario Liberal Party leader ensure that women have an equal opportunity not just to be nominated, but also to run and to win? I wish that for you. I wish it for your mothers, for your daughters, for your nieces and your sisters. I wish that for our party. I wish that for our province. And let's make sure our leader does too. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.